What's up, everybody? Welcome on in to this week's episode of the podcast. We've got a whole bunch to talk about. We were off last week because I've been in the process of moving. As you can see, we are in a brand new location and still in the process of setting things up, so you'll have to pardon the dust. While we wait for the desk to get here, we got a new desk coming in. We'll talk a little bit about that. We got a whole bunch to talk about on today's episode, so let's get into it. First things first, obviously, just again, you can tell we've moved out. I'm completely out of the old house that I was in before and have pretty much everything wrapped up there. I've got a couple loose ends that still need to be, figured out. But for the most part, am out now, and it was, relatively painless. Nothing major broke during the move. I mean, there's a lot that goes with it, a lot that goes with moving out, in addition to just moving out the physical things, the process of moving out. Obviously I got my son, and there's a lot there, mentally, emotionally, all that kind of still dealing with. It's all a very new situation. But for the most part, it's been okay. So I'm happy to report that. But yeah, I'm still in the process of getting everything taken care of and done. It's not over yet, and it'll still be a little bit before, this starts feeling like completely, like things are fully settled in. It's been a lot of work. It's been probably about, I think now almost a week exactly, or a week. Yeah, I think it's a week exactly, because I started packing everything up as of last Friday's stream. So morning stream. So yeah, it's been about exactly a week, and man, it's just been every day has been nonstop, trying to get stuff done, and we've only, I think, missed one morning stream in the meantime. So trying to maintain streams and also just take care of everything that needs to be taken care of between streams, and it's just been a whole hell of a lot, but it's getting done, and I'm trying not to get too overwhelmed by it at the moment. Just trying to knock out little stuff day by day and try to keep this place from being a complete disaster. Something that I would let you all know about, I'll give you the inside scoop here on the podcast that I've not talked about on stream, is some of the shenanigans that have gone on with me and Ike here since moving in. Ike was okay with me spilling the beans. He knows it's going down. But I mentioned just a bit ago about how, moving in has been relatively painless. Nothing is broken. Well, that's not completely true. Nothing has been broken by me. And I've got to say that I'm pretty happy that, as far as like living in this house so far, I feel like I was going to be the one fucking up a little bit, or like be the first person to fuck something up or break something or whatever. And I'm really glad that it hasn't been me, but it has been Ike. So I have that at the very least, in the midst of all the other shenanigans and craziness. I have not been the one fucking up. So to that extent, the first night that it was actually the second night. The first night that I spent here at the house, I wanted to celebrate, but Ike had work the next morning, so we didn't. But that Saturday, last Saturday, we ended up hanging out, got some food after a long couple days of working and bringing stuff over, got some food. Ike bought these boot glasses, these giant boot beer glasses that we filled up and whatever to celebrate. And we were drinking them, and I finished mine. Ike did not finish his, so he said he was feeling it a little bit, but it was funny because Ike had decided that he wanted to go bust out shots. And he's like, let's go get shot glasses. Like, fuck it, let's do some shots. I was like, you probably shouldn't do this, and also this probably isn't a good idea. So I'm sitting here. He's like, okay, let's go do this. I'm like, let's not do this. And so Ike goes into the kitchen to go grab shot glasses, and now, mind you, in our kitchen, we've, it's like one of the few things we had set up is like our cups and glassware in the cabinets, and the shot glasses, along with all of my like finer, like I have like nice beer glasses that I've collected over years. Some have been like given to me. I had like a set of like Sam Adams beer glasses that I got back from when I was working at Applebee's, and there was a couple other ones that I've gotten from like random events, just like really weirdly shaped beer glasses that are supposed to help the flavor. I don't really use them that often, but I had all those nice up on the top shelf with the shot glasses. Well, in the other room, he's like, I'm gonna go get these. All I hear is I was just like, fuck. Ike, what happened? I was like, are you okay? Come to find out, he's standing there covered in glass, and entire top shelf just fell. And he said that it happened like when he opened, like there's like little pegs that hold up the shelf. And he said when he opened the door, it just like came the fuck out. So like pretty much all of my all of my nice beer glasses got fucking destroyed, and he felt really bad about it. It was really funny, but like ultimately, like I said, I don't really use them that often. It sucks that it happened, but like ultimately not that big of a deal in the long run. So I told him, I was like, don't worry about it. But I was like, I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm really glad that I wasn't the one who broke something of yours. I'm glad that this happened the other way around. So that was thing number one. So we already had that. The other thing that happened was our house has had some heating issues, which actually it got there's a guy who came out, looked at the furnace, whatever. There's a couple issues. They fixed it. Our house is now much warmer. Like it was only getting between like 60 and 64 degrees. Now it's up to like 68. You know, maintaining it's doing a better job of maintaining whatever heat. But in addition to, you know, the heating guy coming out, I wanted to put up those plastic on the windows to help with the insulation, because I feel like we were probably losing a shitload of hot, warm air through the windows. So I decided to do that. I went and got all the stuff to do it. I went to a couple different places trying to find it. Finally went to a hardware store, got it. And then 2 days ago, I think, I sat down and decided to do it, and I started doing it. And Ike was saying, you know, I'm glad that you didn't have me do this because I would have fucked it up. And I told him, I was like, you know what? I was going to actually pass this off onto you and ask if you could just take care of this and handle it. But I agree with you that, like, you know, I went out and bought the stuff to do it. And if you had fucked it up, I'd have been like, what the hell? Like, so I'm like, that's fine. I'm not a problem. Just glad I'll just do it. So I set up everything. I cleaned off the windows, put the little tape around. I had to wait for that to go. I ordered some food, went and picked up my food, came back home, put the food down. I was like, let me just put up this plastic real quick, and then I'll eat, and then I'll do the other window after I eat. And so I put up the plastic, and I'm hair drying it, and Ike's out there hanging out with me, and he's like, oh man, you're doing a good job. This looks really good, whatever. And again, just speaking to how, like, if he would have done it, he would have fucked it up and whatnot. And so I'm like, okay. So I finish that. I go to get my food, and meanwhile, while I'm going to get my food and go sit down and eat, Ike picks up the hair dryer, and he's continuing to blow it. And what I assumed was he was just ironing out little spots, like whatever that he thought I had missed. To me, it looked perfectly fine. I had gone over it many times, multiple times, whatever. And so Ike is just sitting there, and I'm sitting there eating, and he's like, I may have to need to patch this up. And I was like, what? He's like, I put a hole in it. And I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. After I just went to all these different fucking places and got all this shit and did this, went and got food. I was just gonna do this other fucking window, and I go and look, there's a little fucking tiny ass hole, and I'm like, you motherfucker. And then he's like, oh, don't worry, I'll just go patch it up. And I'm like, I'm sitting here telling him, I'm like, dude, don't worry. Like, what? I was like, I wish you would not have, this didn't just happen. I was like, just leave it. I'll just rip it down, and I'll rip it down and just fucking put it up a new one. And he's like, no, I'm just going to patch it. And I'm like, motherfucker, I just spent all this time putting this whole thing up. I don't want it to look like shit with a patched whatever. And he's grabbing like a little piece of plastic, a little piece of tape, and trying to fucking patch the thing up. And I was like, listen, I was like, he was like, don't tell nobody about this. And I was like, if you leave it alone right now, I was like, all you're doing is just wasting more tape and plastic. I was like, if you leave it alone, I won't say shit. I'll just do it and it'll be fine. And he just kept fucking going ahead and patching it. And so now there's like a little hole and a little piece, like it's like a larger window. And then there's a little spot where there's a hole and a little piece of plastic and 4 pieces of tape. And I was like, and he was like, don't tear it down. You don't have to. And I was like, I'm going to. I ended up not doing it. I ultimately now think it's funnier. As long as it's retaining the heat, there's no leakage through it. It just looks like ass a little bit. But I think that it's funnier to leave that there as a reminder that Ike fucked that up, and that's funny to me. And so I have that. And so those are the Ike shenanigans that we've gotten into thus far. I don't think he's broken anything else or fucked anything else up. But shout outs to Ike being the one to be that dude in this situation. So, and now you all get the inside scoop that I promised you here. Outside of that, it's been a lot of fun setting up my son's room. I've gone and gotten a bunch of stuff for him. I got we did a stream on Twitch where I set up his bed. It took like 3-4 hours. We knocked that out. He's got this little like cool little bed. Although we were talking about it when I did it, but this There was like some Velcro strips that has like hangs like material on the bottom. It's a loft bed, so there's like a hideout, hangout place underneath the bed. And like I had messed it up initially. I think I need to go back and get more Velcro for that, just so that it stays up because it keeps falling now. But ultimately, it got him some like dope Mario Odyssey bedding, like in comforters. He's got like a yokai watch, like toy chest. He's got some yokai watch, like stuffed animals toys now. He's got all sorts of shit in there. He's got all sorts of cool stuff. His mattress is coming today, and I got him like a mattress topper. But it's been really cool setting up his room. He's really dug it. Shout outs to people in our community who have like come through, suggestions on stuff to get. I've definitely grabbed some of those things you've all suggested. But yeah, that was awesome. And he's been here a couple times now this week. This is our first week of, him going back and forth and stuff. And that's been its own issue for sure. It's been hard. And something I'm trying to get used to. Definitely been tough here, but I'm excited. Tonight is going to be his first night spending the night here. And we're definitely got this whole weekend planned. It's going to be fucking awesome. After I get done streaming, and we record the podcast and whatnot, I'm going to go pick him up from school. And we got, basically all of tonight, all day tomorrow, and then all day Sunday until I got to go back to work to hang out with him. So we'll definitely be doing some cool stuff this weekend. I also showed him, I leaked the Spider-Man, the No Way Home, the name of the new movie coming out. And there's theories about the multiverse because I think Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are also supposed to be in it. And it occurred to me that little Cliffy had not seen the other Spider-Man movies. So I think we're going to do that as much as he loves Spider-Man's, he's only seen the Tom Holland ones. So I think I'm going to go through and watch, and I haven't seen all the Tobey Maguire ones, and I haven't seen any of the Andrew Garfield. So I think we're going to have a Spider-Man-a-thon with little Cliffy and me this weekend, in addition to all the other fun stuff we're going to be doing. So very, very excited for that, spending some quality time with my son and just enjoying our time together here in this new place. Yeah, outside of that, I mean, that's pretty much been it as far as like things with moving and things with the house. Obviously, again, you could tell our setup here in this room is not optimal at the moment. This week on streams, I kind of leaned into the fact that we don't have I'm getting a new desk. Our community has come forth and funded. They really wanted to see us get a new desk, so I'm doing that. And I could have set up the old table that we used to use for the desk, but instead of doing that, I thought it would be cooler to lean into the fact that we are waiting on a new desk by doing floor streams this week. And so my computer's on the floor at the moment. Well, it's on a board on the floor, but all the monitors, everything's pretty much on the floor. And I did that for like 2 or 3 days, and it wasn't long before I realized how bad of an idea that was for my back and my lower back and my neck, just my body in general. It took its toll very quickly. My body did not play that shit for very long at all. So obviously that's why we're in a chair right now. But they were fun while they lasted. We got that. I feel like we did a good job capturing that Saturday morning cartoon / like sleepover with your friend's house like vibe. But yeah, that is now in the books. We're not going back to that. We'll be doing this until the new desk gets in. I'm almost even considering resetting the table up just so that we have a little bit more sense of normalcy until it gets here. It's the new desk, we ordered it. Something else I did on stream yesterday. We had our morning stream. We had people help me decide what desk we were going to get just because I'm super indecisive and also just so much other shit going on right now. I need to carve out time to do it. So we did that. Desk has been ordered. It's not here yet. It's going to ship next week. But as an update to that, I got an email last night that said some of the stuff in my order is already shipping. So I think that they are going to be shipping out the parts separately. Like, I think they're sending out the legs, and I don't really know. It looks like there's a bunch of different stuff coming. So I think the only thing that's really on back order is the actual top itself. So I might get all that other stuff first and then get the top last. I'm not really sure. I will keep you all updated as I know. But yeah, like I said, I'm kind of on the fence right now. I don't really know what I want to do. It's going to be more of a pain in the ass. The whole reason another reason the things are on the floor stream wise is because I thought it would be more work to set the old table up, put the stuff on there, then take it off, put the new desk up, put the stuff back on. It wasn't, I was only about like a quarter of the way setting things on the floor before I realized like, no, I'm not just going to be able to lift all the things up and put them on the table. Like, this is going to be a lot of work either way. So I'm kind of thinking about putting the table back up. I haven't decided yet. We'll see next week if the plastic table makes a short return. But stream content kind of has been affected by it a little bit because we were doing, prior to the move, we were playing, Rust, doing the Rust RP server at night. And I basically had to kill that off because there's no way I can play a PC game comfortably right now with this setup at all. And so that kind of got hit. There was other factors with the Rough server too, where we were playing kind of doing like solo stuff. It was something that I'd considered possibly backing off a little bit from anyways, but with the whole floor situation being what it is, that completely just, put the kibosh in that for right now, at least at the moment. We'll see if, when things get back to normal with the desk, if we dive back into the Rust server, there may be a wipe coming up. So I'm not really sure what's going on with that. But, yeah, I mean, even just outside of that, the stream content this past week has kind of been all over the place. It's been fun. Like, we did a whole bunch of stuff this week. We had 2 cliffyvg streams. I played Skate 3 for the first time, played that a little bit. What did we do last night? I don't remember what we did last night. But in the mornings this week, we played Call of the Wild, which was an Xbox One X enhanced game, was on Game Pass. We played that, didn't finish it, but started playing that. That was cool. Messed around with like NHL 94. There was they did a remake of that. Oh yeah, that's right. We did Call of Duty Zombies last night. There's a new mode for that. And I don't know. We've done a bunch of different stuff. And I think that while that's been fun, I would like to get back to more of like a more focused set of streams. You know what I mean? Like maybe start some playthroughs of stuff and like instead of just like literally it's been like there's so much shit going on. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing today at all on stream. And it's like, we'll figure something out and we'll have fun, but it'd be nice to have a little bit more consistency. And also the other thing is too, like the Finally tour, we've been talking about a little bit. I would like to get that started sometime soon. We started that last year in February and now we're getting near to the end of February. And I've got a lot of really cool games on there. It's probably going to take close to as long as it took last year if we try to do everything. But I'm going to try to get that list whittled down a little bit. We'll probably put together some sort of infographic like we did last year to reveal things that have made the final cut. And I'll probably for sure play I'll for sure play all the games that we announce on it. And then there will probably also be some surprise other ones that we throw in there as well. Oh yeah, that's pretty much it. We're kind of just waiting on the desk to get here, to get delivered, for me to set it up for all that to happen. Also, I would be remiss if we didn't take just at least a second in the podcast today to drop a quick flex for those who don't know. Speaking of things getting shipped, something happened. Something got shipped this week to me. That's really dope. That is something I knew about, but now that it's here, it's even more real. So give me 1 second here. For anybody who hasn't been here or who hasn't seen, this is an actual Emmy Award that we won back in November with the Project Adventure team for our show Adventures of M that we aired on twitch.tv. And it won for Outstanding Achievement for Children's, Youth, and Teen Programming. So here, I'll give you a real quick look. So yeah, this has been like I said, it was wild when they announced it and we won it back in November. But now that the fact that the trophy is actually here, it's real. I have a fucking Emmy Award sitting in my room amongst all this other mess is really just like really wild. I don't know. Very happy, very proud. Trying to do my best not to flex too much. But I think it's important to celebrate your achievements, when you have them. So very proud of our work that we put in on this. Shout outs to our entire Project Adventure team. There's a lot. It was not just me by any means. A huge effort by a lot of really super talented people. All the actors involved. Ross, my buddy Ross and Red. Our friends Jen and Ross's mom and Erica. And there's just so many people to name. People who helped on set design and people who helped with writing, and there were just so many moving parts in there. For anybody who doesn't know my role with the team, when this all kind of got started, me and Ross kind of it was in a car ride I forget where we were even going, but we had started talking about wanting to do more children's programming or just get into that and try to put out some good into the world and, you know, produce something that wasn't just silly stuff, but something that actually made an impact and, like, you know, was really beneficial for, you know, children, and just it'd be nice to put some good out into the world, essentially. And that's kind of where this all came from. That kind of that's how it started, and we started getting people to help us, you know, get other people in places and make it all happen. And then from there, I was kind of all over the place with, you know, I would help with what I could. I had done stuff from, like, you know, when we were shooting on location on set, I helped with sound. The biggest part of what I did, my job was, you know, running the stream, because it was a live streamed event. And so I'd be moving, you know, I'm the same way I run OBS here when I'm live streaming on Twitch. You know, I'm cutting between cameras and scenes much more back and forth than we do. But, you know, changing cameras, cutting to, you know, pre-recorded content back and forth, and a lot of that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, that was kind of my role in it, being like the, you know, streaming engineer, essentially. But also a lot more than that too. We definitely put, you know, a lot of hours and a lot of odds and ends. Like many people that do that kind of stuff, you'll find yourself doing all sorts of shit outside of what you know, whatever your quote unquote title says. But yeah, again, huge shout outs. A lot of hard work went into it. Shout outs to the Project Adventure team. We got this, and this is something that we'll all always have forever. And I'll cherish it for sure. A lot of really good times too. In addition to that, just a lot of really good memories and a lot of fun working with that group on Adventures of M. And I'd love to do more episodes of Adventures of M if we're able to, and to do more stuff like that. So yeah, let me go put this back real quick. Now I just got to figure out how to get a thick ass gold rope to attach that thing, so that when I go out, you know, I could take it with me and everybody can see. You know, we'll figure that out. I'll look into it. Okay, cool. So let's, you know, outside of all the stuff that's been going down here at the house, we do have a little bit of gaming news to talk about that's gone down in the past 2 weeks. There's a lot of stuff that's been happening, but I wanted to take a second and talk a little bit about the conferences that have gone down. One of which we just had today, just a little bit ago. But with it, since the last podcast, we've had a Nintendo Direct, a PlayStation State of Play, and today a Pokemon Presents. The Nintendo Direct, I think, was generally well received. Personally, there wasn't a whole lot in it that I was super interested in, but one of the biggest things, probably the biggest thing for me, would be Mario Golf. Definitely a fan of the Mario sports spin-off games. Mario, the new Mario Golf looks awesome. I'll definitely be picking it up for sure. I'm hoping that the online playability with it is fun. At the very least, it'll be one more thing to add to the lineup to whoop Ike in. But yeah, it just looks awesome. It looked really, really good. Some other notable stuff from the Nintendo Direct. They announced the newest player in Smash, who I think was Xenoblade Chronicles, Xenogear Chronicle, something. My little brother would know more better than me. They announced a new Smash character, and they also announced Miitopia, which looked kind of cool, like an RPG that you use Miis with. Haven't really seen too much use of the Miis lately, but I've seen some. As soon as they announced that, and you should definitely go watch the video of that if you haven't seen it already. But the first thing I started thinking of, like, is how could I start making either my streamer friends, or how can I start making people from my community and put them into this game? So I think it's something that we could maybe have some fun with. We'll see price point, what it's at, wise. I don't know if it's something I would drop 60 on, but if it's, I don't know, 30, 40 bucks, maybe it would be fun to mess around with. But yeah, outside of that, not too much. They announced Splatoon 3, I believe, right? The next Splatoon game is coming. It looks like it has more. They put out a Splatoon RPG side thing not too long ago. I think it was called like Octo. Somebody will know the name of that thing. It kind of looked like it had those kind of elements. It wasn't just the Splatoon, but we'll see. They didn't really show too much. It was just like a little movie. But I think those are probably the biggest things from the Nintendo Direct. Yeah, I don't know. I'm excited for Mario Golf. I think that's the biggest takeaways for me is whenever that comes out, that'll be a lot of fun. And I think that's only in a couple months that comes out. But yeah. They also showed PlayStation State of Play. That was yesterday. Same way, really. The State of Play showed some stuff that I thought was cool. I can't say that there was anything that I was super hyped about. Anything that was like, holy shit moment. They showed off more gameplay of Returnal, which looked cool. I thought that looked really good. I thought it did a good job of highlighting the PS5's capabilities, like a lot of the particle effects and just moving around the movement. Shooting and stuff in there looked cool. Definitely recommend going to watch that as well if you haven't seen that. The other big thing, the major thing from the PlayStation that came out was at the end was Final Fantasy VII news, where Final Fantasy VII Remake, if you owned it on PS4, you're going to get it for free on PS5, which is cool. But should also, I think, just be like standard practice at this point. Like if with the new consoles coming out, if you own something and it's compatible, which all of it should be, I feel like you should just have it on the new one. You shouldn't have to rebuy it. I'll give them praise for it, but at this point, I feel like companies should just be doing that. But you do get it for free on PS5. They also will have a new chapter with Yuffie. Coming out in June, I think. And I've never played any Final Fantasy before, but I really, really liked Final Fantasy VII the remake. It was my first experience with anything Final Fantasy related, and I will most likely be picking up it all comes down to what the price point is at, but I will most likely be picking up the Yuffie chapter. It looked kind of cool. I think it's supposed to take place. It doesn't take place after, which is a little weird. It doesn't take place after the story ends. It takes place like in the middle. It's like something that was going on while Cloud and Barrett and Tifa are split up from each other. I don't know. It's kind of a weird way for them to do that, but it looked cool. It looked fantastic. They also showed the side-by-side comparisons. They're like, this is what the game looks like on PS4. Now look at it on PS5. And it looked exactly the same. Like there was very, very minor changes to me. Like obviously some stuff with lighting and little things. But I mean, there were even shots that they showed that I thought the PS4 looked better at. It's just, I think we're reaching that point with games where it's like they can only look so good. There's like, you're only ever going to get very, very minuscule, changes graphically. I think a lot of it will come in different ways. You know what I mean? The new consoles from here on out. Load times have been one thing with PS5, so they showed that, how quick it goes, which is cool. And the other thing is just the amount of stuff that can happen on screen at the same time without the frame rate dropping and just things looking very fluid with a bunch of stuff going on. I think they showed a little bit of that too. So I think those will be ways that it's improved. But that's the biggest announcement, I think, from the State of Play. The other one other kind of cool thing they showed was Kena. It looks like an action platformer, and it was a game that I'd seen before, but I can't say I was like super in on. But the gameplay or like whatever they showed yesterday was enough for me to want to go ahead and get in on it. It looked really clean, really polished. I don't know. It looked awesome, and it looked like it was something I would like to play. So, I think those are the biggest ones from State of Play. And then to me, the best out of all of the little conferences that have happened so far within the past 2 weeks has got to be the one that just went down today. Was the Pokemon, not just because it's the newest one, but to me the most interesting, the thing I care about probably the most, which is weird to me. But the Pokemon Presents today. I wouldn't even say like I'm a huge Pokemon fan. Like I would consider myself a very casual Pokemon fan, but holy shit, the stuff they've announced looked awesome. They went more in depth with Pokemon Snap, which I loved as a kid. I cannot wait to get that game and play it with my son. That's going to be great. They showed a photo editor mode, and that they showed off how some of the Pokemon like react with like with different items being thrown at them. Like if you feed them or if you throw something, I don't know, they have like a light ball or something that makes them like do cool stuff. So more news on Pokemon Snap, definitely cool. Very excited for that. They also announced that they are going to be remastering or remaking. I guess I don't know. Is it remaster, remake? I think it's probably remaster. Technically, it's going to be a remake because they got completely different names. There's Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, I believe, for Pokemon. Similar to how they've done Leaf Green and Fire Red, and they've done Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. Excited for that. It looked great, I thought. And in addition to that, my favorite Pokemon ever was Platinum, and which was the third off of those. I'm curious. The one thing I really liked about Platinum was the story in Platinum, and I'm curious because I don't actually know if it's the same story. If Platinum has the same story as Diamond and Pearl, I would assume it does. But I feel like there was something extra about Platinum, if I'm remembering correctly, that it was like, I don't know if it was maybe end game stuff or stuff post game that was like a little bit different. I know there was stuff that like focused around Giratina and that kind of thing. But it was an excellent game, and the remakes look really cool. I will most likely be picking up those as well. It'll be really cool to dive back into that. And again, for me, technically the first time not having played Diamond or Pearl, just playing Platinum. Excited for that. And the third one was Pokemon Legends, Arceus, which whatever game Arceus was introduced in was also a Pokemon that entry that I didn't play. But it looks cool. It looks like an RPG style Pokemon game set long ago. They said it's based off of it's in the Sinnoh region, and it's before things were the way they were, where Pokemon roamed free, which to me was a little saddening. Actually, like, it made me stop and think a little bit. It was like, okay, so Pokemon used to be free and like they're not now. This is I don't know if this is where I want my Pokemon games going. It's the harsh truth of Pokemon, but it was pretty cool. It looks very simplistic in style. But it looks like you're going through what seems to be kind of like the wild areas from Pokemon Sword and Shield, and catching Pokemon kind of like not how you would normally do it. It's not like a battle sequence. It's not like press A to throw a ball and then like you're waiting for a thing to happen. Like your character's actually physically throwing the ball, and it's like more of an instantaneous thing. And then you can still battle Pokemon in it, but like you're not battling trainers, you're battling the actual Pokemons themselves. It looks wild. When we were watching it together on Twitch with our community, somebody said that they wanted to remain that all the other stuff looked cool. They wanted to remain positively optimistic. And I think that's probably the best way to go about that. I got to say, from what I saw graphically, it didn't look super impressive. There was some weird frame rate stuff looked like going on. Hopefully that's just a product of it not being done yet and stuff they've got to iron out as opposed to like direction. But it looks like they're doing something a little different and a little cool, kind of based off of the main games, like a side spin-off thing. One of the only things I can remember that was kind of like that I actually really enjoyed was Pokemon XD for GameCube, which I highly suggest if you've never checked that out. It was definitely different than a main Pokemon game, but had an excellent story to it. And I think that would probably be what I would ask for out of this Pokemon Legends Arceus game, is that hopefully it has a really, really enticing story to it, because I think that's what would probably drive that more than anything else. But we'll have to wait and see if we can get more information on that. I think Pokemon Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl come out later this year, so I would imagine Christmas holiday season for those, and then Legends will come out in 2022. So we'll get one of them this year, one of them next year. And Pokemon Snap, actually not too far away at all, April 30th. So just a little over 2 months away at the moment. But very excited. That'll be a day one purchase. If you're looking for somebody to play Pokemon Snap with, or to watch and experience that with, if you're not getting it, or maybe even if you are, make sure to come check out our Twitch streams, because that will be going down. That'll probably be a morning time stream, I would imagine, is where we'll probably throw that in. But either way, a lot of cool news from all the different places. Nothing really major from Xbox, I don't think, within the past 2 weeks. But I don't know, maybe we hear something from them coming up soon. I feel like with all the other announcements coming out, they've got to have something to kind of compete. And that also wraps us up for this episode of the podcast. We are going to get to the Voncast question, or podcast questions that you all have sent in this week. If you want to send in a question to the podcast, you could do it by emailing me at cliffyvg@gmail.com and just put hashtag Cliffy questions in all caps in the title. I can answer some more long form, answer some questions you might have in more long form, and be able to dive deeper into it than I would normally be able to while we're on stream. So this week's question comes from Jen Bell. So shout outs to Jen. She's had some really good questions for us in the past. This one is no slouch either. Jen Bell says, there are all kinds of factors that can make a game great. Personally, I prefer an incredible narrative, over game mechanics. What games have you played that you think were great specifically for its storyline? To me, some that come to mind, like some of the best storyline games that just immediately popped to mind. For one, Horizon Zero Dawn. Loved Horizon Zero Dawn. The game was really, really fun to play. I don't even think I did any side quest stuff with Horizon Zero Dawn. I really just went main storyline with that. But it was so captivating, and I thought there was a lot of twists that happened in it, and a lot of things that I didn't expect. A big reason for me being so hype on it, and I'm really excited for Breath of the Wild 2. Not many games that I'm looking forward to this year. Not a whole lot. Not Breath of the Wild 2. Breath of the Wild 2 will also be awesome. But Horizon Zero Dawn 2, when it comes out, will be a day one for sure for me. And a lot of that is mostly tied to its storyline. Trying to think of some other games that are really notable story-wise for me that, you play them for the story. We were just talking about Pokemon and Pokemon Platinum, that being my favorite ever. The reason Pokemon Platinum is my favorite game of all time is because of the story. In addition to having cool Pokemon and stuff and getting back into it, I really, really enjoyed the story on it. And that's kind of what cemented that game for me out of all of them. It was the difference maker. I'm trying to think of some other games that are really notable story-wise. I would say that Metal Gear Solid is probably a big one. I love the Metal Gear Solid story, albeit extremely confusing. And it's like one of those Inception type things where like you play it and it's like, I don't really understand what's going on, but then you think you got it, but then you don't actually have it. And I couldn't even tell you right now. Like what, what the plot is of a Metal Gear. Like if you asked me, if I was like, we'll give you $1 million, I couldn't do it. I don't know, but really fun while you're in them. Death Stranding was dope. Another Hideo Kojima joint. Not as good as the Metal Gears to me, but really cool and did a really cool thing with their story that kind of like wove it into a really creative like game mechanic. And as far as that, yeah, I can't really think of too many other games that like, the story, like it's really nice when you get one because I feel like that's such a unique experience to get a really, really solid story out of a game. I feel like that's most of the time what I'm missing in games. That's probably like, I feel like games often have really cool mechanics. They have really cool concepts or, little things that are fun about them. But not often is it that for me that a story comes along and it's like, holy shit, that was like a full experience. You know what I mean? The Spider-Man game was probably like that. The Spider-Man PS4 game was probably another one in recent memory. I can't really think of too many from my younger years that I thought hit that mark. I'm sure if I sat and thought about it, I could probably come up with a couple more, but those are probably the big ones for me. But yeah, I think it's a really special thing, and when done right, really it will elevate any game to that next level. Past what the general concept of what video games are. I think the stories are, a lot of people argue like are video games art, and to what level of art are they, compared to other like, TV shows and movies and stuff. And I feel like that's like probably one of the easiest ways to show that like, yeah, they are more than just like point click shoot mindless fun. Like they're really like an experience. So and also just an advantage they have over movies and TV, and the fact that they're entirely interactive, and they give them that leg up. So but yeah, shout outs to Jim Bill for that question, and thank you all for listening and watching. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode of the podcast. Again, we didn't have one last week, so this one was jam-packed with stuff. We should be back on our regular schedule as far as weekly uploads for the podcast now. Make sure to check this, all of our podcast episodes out. They drop Mondays at 11 a.m. Central Time on our YouTube channel. Hopefully we'll be expanding out and maybe throwing audio-only versions on other platforms at some point soon. But we got a lot of other things to take care of before that. So it's in the plans. It's in the future. It's in the roadmap, essentially. But maybe a little bit. But for now, podcast on YouTube. Go check it out. Or make sure you're subscribed if you haven't already subscribed. Get notifications every time we drop a new one. And yeah, that's pretty much it for us. Thank you for listening, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.